All right, we have Shaneesha from the chat in here, and I apologize because I know it's going to lag a little bit, but I'll do as best as I can. Basically, what I wanted to bring you on here for is, like I say, sometimes it's a little bit easier for us to have a dialogue as opposed to in the chat, because I'll say some things, then you may or may not see it, and then you'll type in the chat and all of that good stuff. So I figured it'd be a little bit easier for us just to have a conversation. So hopefully you kind of understand where I'm coming from. Okay. So if you would, tell me your thoughts. I'll be more than happy to give you the floor here for a minute or two, and you kind of tell me what your thoughts are based on what you've heard or what you at least try to articulate in the chat.
Okay, first off, I want to say I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I have seen plenty of times where families have had to use a GoFundMe because of a tragic accident or something that happened that was out of their control, completely out of their control. Not everyone can afford life insurance, let alone not to say how many kids they have. So you're supposed to have life insurance for every last baby you have. I know that something tragic happened to this child because of his mother. So with that being said, you don't know if his family, his grandmother, his father, anybody are the people who the ones who set up the GoFundMe. But sometimes family needs that. And I mean, I'm not saying that I need it, but some people need it. Not everyone needs it. Some people do. Just because they're black and hood and wear orange hair and different color shoes, that mean they don't deserve a GoFundMe. Or if it was a father and a mother and a household and a kid tragically got hit by a car and they forgot to pay their life insurance that month, then they deserve a GoFundMe. Everyone is equal. Everyone should deserve a GoFundMe if they need it or not. Whether they got orange, blue, green hair or Jordan tennis shoes or whatnot, it doesn't matter. It's just to lay that baby to rest. At the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about the baby. I'm pretty sure it's one responsible person in that bunch that's going to make sure that baby get buried.
Okay. Do you feel like I've been fair enough to at least hear out what your point is?
Sure. I'm pretty sure you're going to, go ahead. I know you. I watch you every day.
Because you know it's not a smart thing to guess what I'm going to say, right?
I watch you every day.
So because there's a reason why I said that. So the reason I asked you that was to make sure that if you wanted to get all of your points out, I wanted to make sure that I was fair, because I come from a customer service background, so you should know that about me, right? Okay. So with me coming from a customer service background, one of my biggest jobs that I had to do was to make sure I listen. And I feel like in order to listen, you have to make sure and take mental notes. You have to be able to let that person get out everything that they need to get out and then respond. And then that way we can kind of dialogue back and forth to kind of make sure each other is coming from. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me start off by saying this. I do understand where you're coming from. That doesn't mean that I agree with it. I actually completely disagree with it, but I do understand where you're coming from, because your understanding of this situation and situations like this is a bit different than what I understand. Okay. So what my goal is of my platform of the AFC is to give a different perspective, a perspective that I think works not only in the real world, but a perspective that I think makes the world a better place and makes it more equal, like you use the terminology equal. And so my goal is to try to get people to understand things from my perspective and hope that it actually will make their lives better. So the things that I suggest in my videos are things that I actually think would make people's lives better and make people's lives easier. One of those things that I think would make the world a better place, make our communities a better place, is this thing called self-sufficiency. Is that something that you're familiar with?
Elaborate in depth.
Being self-sufficient is something that usually like let's just say like a household like my mom and dad, one of the biggest things that they wanted me to do, even my dad even reiterated it recently a few days ago when I was in OKC, so shout out to my daddy, was he told me like that he wasn't going to pay for my college. He's just like, look, You need to find out a way. There's a lot of ways for you to go out there and be able to get what you need to get and get it paid for if you apply yourself. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? Because he just told me this, and keep in mind, I'm like almost 40 years old and just hearing this for the first time. And I thought about it. I said, damn, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because if you think about it, they have grants, they have loans, they have scholarships, they have this, they have that. And if you apply yourself, whether it be physically or whether you apply yourself mentally, there are ways to be able to get college paid for. Maybe not at the college you want to go to, but maybe a college that will accept you, even community college. It's still college. It's still a way. It's still an option. So there are a lot of options out there, right? So the reason
I understand that completely.
So the reason I bring that up is to relate it to this situation. There are lots of ways to be able to get these funerals taken care of. One of those things that I harp on all the time is that we know that two things in life are going to happen. And do you know what those two things are?
Taxes and death.
You will.
My mother said taxes and death.
Well, yes, but actually taxes are illegal, but we'll get to that another point. I don't want to get flagged tonight. I don't want the IRS coming and flagging my channel. But two things in life are going to happen. You will be born and you will, and the second part she had right. So if we know that those two things are guaranteed in life, then as responsible adults, as responsible humans that we've been knowing since the beginning of life on this earth, that those two things are going to happen, the best thing that we can do is prepare for those two things, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we know what it takes to make it in this world, which we should, I guess, by the time that we are procreating, when we are choosing to lay down, like I say, I'm a pretty equal person. As a man, I should know what it takes to raise a kid in this world if I'm going to lay down with a woman and release my seed to this righteous soil. As a woman should understand what it takes to raise a child in this world. If they do not, then I do not think that they should be making kids. Anybody shouldn't. I didn't have my daughter until I was 24 years old. At that point, I had a job. I was working full time. I was able to provide for myself. I had a place and a space for my daughter, so did her mom. And guess what else I had? Insurance.
A job?
Yeah, I had a job, but the job allowed me to have insurance. So what they did was they covered a large portion of that. Most jobs, depending on what type of job you have, will at least allow you an option to take out a portion of your check to have some type of insurance. Most jobs allow you to do that, especially if you're working full time. And if you're going to be a parent, then you probably should be working a full-time job. Do we have any disagreements on any of that so far? Because I got a lot more to say.
No.
So far so good?
Yes.
Okay. So, knowing that as a parent, it's a smart thing to whatever job you have, because I don't knock any job as long as you're working a legal job, right? I don't condone people out there selling crack on the corner. I don't condone people out there flipping bricks or kicking in doors or to get school clothes and none of that stuff. I condone people working legal, righteous jobs or owning a business. Those type of jobs that create legal income. Okay. So with that being said, most jobs provide you an option to be able to have insurance. So what I did, the first thing I did was I had insurance on myself because I was working there before I had my daughter. So me and my daughter's mom had this situation. We were prepared. We're ready to go. And so by the time that she was born, we got her name, her birth certificate and all of that. I got her social and I put her on there, not only as my beneficiary if something ever happens to me. So any money that I am owed, including my 401k, all of that stuff goes to her. All of it goes to her. And on top of that, she has life insurance because her mom was in the military. Her mom has a life insurance policy on her as well. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can actually have multiple life insurance policies on a person.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, so let me throw something else out there. There are things in life that we, on a day-to-day basis, that we spend our money on. Some of us smoke cigarettes. Some of us like DJ Just J, who like to eat a lot, always got snacks. I like to have my little snacky cakes and things. I always got some food around, right? We're always buying stuff every single day. The stuff that we want, as opposed to the stuff that we need, we always find a way. But it's funny how the stuff that we need, we don't find a way to make those things happen. The thing that
I
we
get you.
need, the thing that we need for our children is to make sure and have a solid foundation for them to live on. Make sure to be able to have food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, all of these things. These kids need these things, and that's part of the problem, because I agree with what you're saying. Not everybody has the ability to be able to provide those things. So one would have to ask, why in the hell are we making kids if we cannot provide for these kids? So think of
Sometimes things happen.
no, it does not. It doesn't have to. And that's the part of the mentality that we're trying to change. That's what we're trying to
Absolutely.
That's
I
what
get
we're
you.
trying to inspire change. That point right there. I don't want people to be pessimistic. Pessimistic meaning this is just the way things are. I encourage people to be optimistic and having an open mind. And I love that terminology. It comes from a movie called Bloodsport. And he said he wanted to learn this new style that his Shidoshi, his teacher, was going to teach him to keep an open mind. And I like having an open mind, and having an open mind and an open heart is always a good thing, because you allow for things to come in and you allow yourself to flow like water. You should always be able to flow like water in any situation. Like, I don't think you should be just stuck in a mentality of anything, which is partially the reason why you have areas like Chicago and other places, because they have this pessimistic mentality and they say, well, this is just the way things is. Things ain't gonna change. We just does what we does every day. They just wake up every day and shit, excuse my language, but just shit is fucked up and it's just gonna stay fucked up.
I understand you 1000% where you're coming from.
So if I could throw one more, if I could throw one more, let me throw one more.
Mom, I'm sorry.
Oh, she good. Let me throw one more point out there real quick. With regard, because we're talking about what we can afford. I see us afford Jordans. I see us afford big screen TVs. I see us afford rims. I see us afford all like the weaves are expensive. I've heard women say that weave costs more than some people's rent, and I'm like, damn.
Yes, it does.
When we have our own natural hair that we can learn how to just style our own natural hair, but that's a whole nother subject. I want you to think about this. You could get, she started up a GoFundMe, and I think that mom that got her kid killed was trying to get $1,500 out of a GoFundMe. Do you know that life insurance on her kid would have costed her like $1 a month with the Gerber Grow Up plan? Maybe less?
No, I didn't.
$5,000 of coverage for the Gerber Life Grow Up plan. You guys can go to gerberlife.com. Costs $3.27 per month. I thought kids were expensive. I thought diapers were expensive. I thought formula was expensive. I thought school was expensive. I thought immunization was expensive. We can't afford $3.27.
I see the mind-boggling thing.
Matter of fact, let me break it down in another way that I like to break it down. I like to break it down daily because I used to work in cellular service. So my job was to break down how much people's monthly cost is per day. So let's take $3.27 and divide that by 31 days in a month. That's 10 cents a day. Are our children not worth 10 cents a day per child? That's 30 cents. That's 30 cents a day for 3 kids. So for her, that'd be $6. That'd be like $6 and what? $6.50. Let me see. 6. So 53, I guess. No, 54. $6.54 a month, and that would cover 2 kids, $10,000.
Yeah, I see.
Let's break it down a little bit further, and then I want you to kind of. I want you to kind of tell me what.
Now,
I want you to kind of tell me what you think. So
I'm down that way. It seems so biased on the chat.
Yeah, like I said, everybody's perspective is a little different. Like some people kind of already kind of understand, and some people we just haven't had this conversation before. So let's just say 3.27 times 2 by 12 months. That's $78 a year. I spend more than that just going out to eat sometimes by myself for one meal. and that covers that kid. That covers 2 kids for the whole year. You kind of see what I'm
I think
saying?
our connection get going bad.
It is a little bit, and it's dependent on how your cellular signal is. But do you kind of see what I'm saying? $78 a year would cover 2 kids. But what are your thoughts, though? Or did your mom want to say something?
Yeah.
I know our connection's bad. Crap.
Did you? Okay, you said you don't. You said you don't care how a person takes care of their family as long as they're doing it a legal way, not kicking in the doors and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, as long as
So
as
you
long as
say,
they're generating.
say for instance,
Yeah.
a mother who gets in a relation with, she's in love, she gets in a relationship, and they get married, and then she divorces, it doesn't work out, but the mother is trying to provide a way for her family, but she don't have that good of a job that got that insurance plan, or if they do, it's $500 a month, so she can't do the family plan. Or then, say for instance, she loses that job, say through COVID, all of a sudden she's unemployed, and she has to let go that life insurance because she either got to choose to either put food on the table to provide for this family, or pay that Gerber life insurance. What does she choose? So you can sit there and say there's always a way, a will and a way, but there's always life circumstances that may cause a person not to be able to pay something in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I agree with you. I ain't bought a piece of weave ever in my life. Don't like the weave. I think that as a mother,
Can you talk into the phone a little bit more for me?
Provided for my children way before me.
Can you hear me? I need you to talk into the phone a little bit more. It's a little hard to hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. Go ahead.
You can't hear me. Are we having a breakup?
I think we are. Do you want to try to hop?
Do that whole thing again.
Try to hop off and hop back on. I'll add you right back in so you can finish your point.
Okay.
Yeah, just hop off and hop right back in.
Can you say what I said?
Okay. So far, so good, guys. She's gonna hop right back in here because she was making her point, and I was wanting to rebuttal some of her points, but we'll give her a moment to come right back in. So far, so good. I think we're having a pretty fruitful conversation, and I thank you guys for being patient. Let me see how many people we still have here. We got 185 here. Not bad. Not bad. If you guys are still here, do me a favor, click that thumbs up. We need 3 more people to knock us over that 300 mark. That would be awesome. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up. Help share the stream. Let other people know that we're still live. And we definitely want to continue the conversation with our sister here. This is Shaneesha. So we're hoping that Shaneesha will hop back on here. Let me put the link back in the chat for her just in case if she needs it. So let's see what happens. And I'm sorry, I know my computer is kind of acting a little funny too. So yeah. There we go. She hopped back in here because her audio was great at first. Her audio was real good at first. Let me see what happens. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, actually, you could probably just turn your camera off because I mean it's like pitch black over there. Just turn your camera off. Like hit that camera mic thing. Like touch your screen.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, just turn the camera off so that way I could just hear the audio.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps out a little bit.
No, you turned off the audio.
Yeah, it should say cam or yeah, it should say cam or hit stop cam. Hit stop cam. That should help. Stop cam. I think it works the same way from the cell phone. I could try. Let's see. I could try it and see. Hey, EDJ17, are you out there? Hey, man, thank you so much. I just got your cash out, bro. So EDJ17, if you're out there, man, thank you so much. Were you able to do it, Shaneesha?
How about now? Did I do it?
Did you hit stop cam?
Hold on.
There it is. You got it. You got it. That's it.
I did it.
All right. There you go. I think you got
Okay.
it. I think you got it. All right. So it seems like we have a little bit less lag. Do you want to
Okay.
go ahead and finish with what you were saying, and I'll talk about, because where you were talking about marriage and some other things. You want to go ahead and continue with your point?
Wow. I said, so say for instance that my mother she ended up becoming a single parent and she's doing the best she can. She doesn't have the best job.
Mm-hmm.
She and in order for her to afford the insurance through her job, it's gonna cost her way beyond her means. Or for instance, say that a person is working and all of a sudden they lose their job under their, say COVID. All of a sudden you lost your job, and your mother got to pick whether she got to either feed her family or pay for her Gerber life insurance. She's gonna choose to feed her family. Am I correct or not correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a situation that may come where you have to drop your insurance plans, then you don't have the income. God forbid that something happened to your family and you got to bury them.
Mm-hmm. May I ask?
So you never know what a GoFundMe is actually for. And I agree. I have raised my kids on my own my whole entire life, and I have went out. I when people say what kind of shoes you got, I have a pair of sandals, a pair of tennis shoes when it came to taking care of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I've never bought a piece of weave ever. Ask my kids. My kids always had came first.
Am I talking to the mom or am I talking to Shaneesha?
But does that say that I'm a bad parent because I learned? You're talking to Shanisha's mother.
Okay, we still having a little bit of lag, and I just figured that out. I was like, you raised all your
Listen to
kids. I
what
was
you
like,
said.
Shanisha's not that old. I was like, she look younger than me. I'm like, I know she ain't raised no. I was like, I know she
I'm
ain't raised
sorry.
no kids that was grown. I'm like, come on now.
It's me and my mom.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time with my mom. I love my mom.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
And
actually,
I watch you every day.
yeah, so actually, I get a chance to kind of, I guess, kind of bounce my points off of both of you guys, and both of y'all can give me your perspective. So, do you want to go ahead and finish what you were saying,
Yeah.
or do you want me to go ahead and kind of tell you what my thoughts are?
Go ahead and tell what your thoughts are. I don't listen to you at all, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of surprised that you did all this and said my name, and I'm like, Mom, what did I do? And she like, talk to him, tell him your point of view. You need to voice your opinion. So
Yeah.
this is where this is how it happened.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be a scary thing because
But
you
I'm
don't,
glad
you don't.
that it did happen because
Yeah, because sometimes it can be a little bit of a scary thing because you don't really know, I guess, like what a person's intention is for bringing you on. Like I say, my point isn't to try to embarrass you or anything like that. And like I said, I think people might be a little intimidated. My point was literally just to try to have a conversation based on, because I felt like there was a huge gap in where your understanding was compared to compared to what the message is that I'm trying to put out. And I wanted to just try to see if we can kind of, at least kind of shrink the gap a little bit. Does that kind of make sense?
yes, and I understood. I understood completely, 1,000% where you were coming from after having this personal conversation with you. But when you speak it to a whole platform, one thing might apply to one person and another might apply to another one. And then what did he just say? So that's how I was at. I'm like, hold on. And then I seen something in the chat where someone said that if a mother doesn't think about life insurance, then she shouldn't be a mother. And when you having a child, you don't have a child. They don't tell you all these things.
Right.
You have to learn these things as you go on.
Right.
Thank God I had that guidance.
Well, so let me say this.
Everybody didn't though, and I've
Let-
seen a lot of people.
So let me say this. I know we got a little bit of lag, and I only cut you off just because I was trying to make sure, because I know we got maybe about a 5-second delay, and I'm sorry about that. But let me say this. So at least I can say between the people who are listening in the chat and me talking to you and Mom, I can at least say that I know that I've reached you guys enough to say, now we have an idea in our heads that this is something very important that we should think about. And now that gave us all an opportunity to reach somebody else and teach somebody else. You've heard that reach one, teach one, right?
Absolutely.
So now that gives us an opportunity to teach either a young woman that we know or a young man that we know that's coming up. As you know, when they come in their adolescent years, between when they get to smelling themselves at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, and we can start having these additional conversations, because there's a lot in life. There's a lot in life that these adolescents do not know, or these underage people do not know, or even just these young adults do not know about life before they start to jump into these decisions, and they're just like, whoa, they don't really know what they jumped into. So let me talk about one thing that I thought that you said was important that maybe you didn't think about. You said when people get married and if they get a divorce, because we know that the divorce rates are very high, right? So there is a high probability that if somebody does get married, that they're going to get a divorce, because the divorce rate is up to about 70% right about now. But here is the caveat. How many of our, because I can talk to y'all, y'all are my sisters, I can talk to y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all very bluntly. Shout out to my brother Tommy, by the way, because this is a lot of stuff that we started having conversations about that made me kind of realize and look up the stats. So these are things that I now can give you guys as jewels of information. This is not a hate thing at all. This is a love thing. I want you guys to understand that. There are not very many of our sisters that are getting married at all. The actual marriage rates for our black women are very, very low, almost non-existent. Let me tell you the difference, because there was a generation that grew up before us between the 1900s all the way up to about the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. In the 1940s, the black marriage rate was up to like 92%. We had children inside of wedlock at a rate of 92%, which was the highest rate of all races in the United States of America. Did you guys know that?
No, I did not.
We had the best rate for in-birth wedlock childbirths. I know I probably said that wrong. We had the highest rate for births inside of wedlock at one point in America.
He said wedlock. We understood him.
So we go from that to now we're not even thinking about getting married. And matter of fact, and I think that women have a great power. Women have this great power, this thing called a bar. And they can put this bar wherever they want to. And they say that this man has to achieve this certain level of my standards before I'm going to allow this man into my house, into my temple, into my body, and procreate with me. A woman has the right of refusal to say yes or no to that man and does not have to accept that man's seed. It's a great gift and it's a great responsibility to give life in this world, right? So if a woman has this great gift,
yes,
what also comes with that great gift is this thing called responsibility. And that thing cannot be taken away if you're going to have a great gift. If you're going to have a great responsibility, you also have to be held accountable for that thing as well, or I don't think that you should have that thing, right? So since you're in a position to have that thing, I think that it's a good thing that we should use our brains, knowing that they claim that black women are some of the smartest in the United States of America, and I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to say I'm expecting for them to utilize that brain power and say that if we're going to bring kids into this world, and we know that the social construct of marriage used to be a good thing for black people because we stuck together, we spun money, we kept our money black, we kept all of these things, we took care of ourselves, we were self-sufficient, and we did not depend on the government system. We did much better as a race back then in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when we had less access and less opportunity and less fairness in America. Now we have more fairness in America. We have more attention in America. We have more opportunity in America.
That's where your points come from.
Yes. So we have more opportunity in America now than we ever have, and it seems like we're regressing. We're doing worse. We're having more and more kids outside of wedlock when we don't have to. We're dropping out of school when we don't have to. You know, we're choosing to live in bad areas of town when we don't have to. We're continuing to bring more and more kids into situations when we don't have to. We're dating more and more thugs when we don't have to. We're doing so many things that are literally up to our own discretion when we don't have to. We have more power of choice now than we ever have. And it sucks when I see people on ESPN talking about, well, you know, the reason why it's like this is because, and I'm like, no, that's dumb. Don't say that. Because it gives black people this victimhood mentality and it makes us believe that we can't do any better because of our circumstances. And that's horse shit. I didn't come from the best neighborhood, the best backgrounds, the best environment, but that don't mean that I'm gonna turn around and give, you know, those things to my daughter. I'm gonna make sure that she has better than what I had. We're gonna do better. And I'm gonna tell my daughter, you don't date somebody like me. You date somebody better than me. You date somebody 10 times better than your father. And I think that's a good thing when men can be honest enough to say, I wasn't good enough. I failed you. I don't want you to fail. That's the accountability that I'm talking about. So knowing the fact that we aren't getting in a lot of marriages, knowing the fact that we aren't getting in a lot of marriages, not at least as far as a percentage, then we can't say something like marriage and what if we get a divorce and this is why we're in this situation, because we're not even thinking about marriage. We're not even thinking about relationships. We're thinking about our next nut. Are we not?
No.
No.
I was married 22 years.
Most of our
Yes,
most of our black
22
people
years.
nowadays, including our men, including me, there was a point in time when I came from this as well. We were only thinking about our next orgasm. We were thinking no further than that. And that's a problem. And that problem needs to be called out.
So I never went through that.
They say that women like sex more than men do. Do you know that in the black community that this is
within partner?
Do you know that this is actually a statistic that I didn't even know existed? Do you know that they say that black women have twice as many kids as black men do? I can
believe that.
That's a real statistic. Is that not scary? Knowing that they already outnumber us, and then on top of that, it's twice more of them that have kids than we do. So, do you know what that means? That means that most of those
women are more fertile.
No. It means that most
Vulnerable.
No, it means that most of those women are sleeping with the same man.
Yeah, it could be.
No, it is. When you got places like in Atlanta where a man is responsible for 42
Break
kids.
that down. Break down your logic where that comes from.
I have a great example for you. I think they said there are two men, I believe, in Georgia who were responsible for, I think, like 42 kids between them. Between two men. 42 kids.
Oh.
Look, all I know is that the good guys, the nerds, the white collar black men ain't. I hope I can be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be straight. Y'all know I give it to you raw sometime. The good, straight up, upstanding black men ain't getting pussy like that. It's the niggas that's in jail. It's the thugs. It's the gangbangers getting all the sex out there. That's the truth. Have I not proven that in my stories? What about tonight?
It is.
What about tonight? The dude is on parole, just got out of jail, and got a place to stay and a woman to lay up in. Right?
Yeah.
How many times have you ever seen a thug getting out of jail and he didn't have some woman waiting on him?
Approach.
Huh?
It could be the nerd's approach. Opposite attract.
But wait a minute. But whose discretion is that, though? That's the woman's discretion still, though, right? He ain't got no game. He lame. He ain't cool. He don't know how to dress. He's boring. That sounds like a woman's choice.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that
You don't
women,
know how to bump and grind.
I just think that women need to understand how awesome a gift that they have and how many opportunities you have to make a difference. Every day you have an opportunity to make a positive difference. And it's just that I think that sometimes we need to just look at things a little bit differently. And it seems that we give credence to things that shouldn't have it, and we give credit to things that shouldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we give our bodies to men that don't deserve it. We give our bodies to men that don't deserve it, and we give our bodies to men that ain't gonna make no commitment to us. And I think, and I've told women this, I said, if a man is not going to marry you, don't have a kid by that man. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should always be, but what I am saying is we're talking about changing the mentality. We should be thinking about it that deeply, because if this man, if you have to worry about whether this man is going to provide or not, then marry him. If he's not going to marry you, then don't have a kid by him, because he's already telling you that, hey, I may or may not stick around. But at least you know a man is going to at least try, make an attempt to stick around if he gets married. There is a higher likelihood, a better probability that man is going to stick around if he puts a ring on your finger and goes through the legal process of getting married to you, as opposed to some nigga you just met at the club and damn, he was looking good and talking that shit that night.
Absolutely.
I've been one of those dudes. I'm telling you, I've been in the clubs. I know how it go down.
My mom said she met my dad there.
Yeah. But she said,
but he married her.
That's my point. She required him to marry her.
Absolutely.
It's too many of our sisters nowadays that don't have any requirements at all to have unprotected sex with them. And I ask myself, if women value themselves like I believe that they do, if they say that they're queens and they hold themselves up in this high regard, why do they not also value their vaginas? Why do they not value their womb just as much as they do everything else? I think that they should value all of that stuff equally. Value their legacy.
I agree.
Value their legacy. Value who you're having a baby by, a legacy by.
Absolutely.
That's all. It's like the conversation we're having now is kind of.
You're making a lot of sense here.
So look at my channel as over the past 3 years, the same message that I'm giving you, I take a bunch of those messages and just kind of spread them out throughout all of the stories that I talk about. So that way I could try to educate kind of as we go.
Absolutely.
I'm always using these stories as what I call cautionary tales. And people always ask, well, what's the solution, Jay? In every story that I show, in every story that I talk about, there's always a solution in each and every story that I talk about. One of the biggest things that I said in this story is that the woman should have did a background check, and if she knew that he was a thug, which she would have found that out if she would have did a background check, which she probably already knew and just didn't give a crap, then she shouldn't have had that man around her kid, and therefore would not have had that kid dead. But maybe she just didn't give a damn about that kid, though.
Yeah.
Because what you'll have happen is you'll have people say to me, well, maybe she didn't know. And I'm like, get a background check. There's a solution. See what I'm saying? That's a solution.
I look everybody up.
Love is blind.
I don't even. It's a colloquialism. I don't know exactly what it means.
Public information. You can look anybody up in your county or city, anywhere.
She said love is blind. Like, it's a colloquialism, but I mean, I'm not really sure like what it means. What does love blind mean to you? Maybe you can tell me that. What does it mean to you?
To her, it might mean something else than what it means to me.
These young girls out here don't go around looking at background checks.
My mother said that the young girls don't go around and do the background check. They listen to Dang.
Love line.
Love is blind. That's her definition.
But knowing how many of these women are getting raped, how many of these women are getting kidnapped, how many of these women are going through all of this stuff, getting abused and all of this stuff, why would they not in 2020, when you have more free access to things, even like free background checks, why would they not in 2020 when everybody has a smartphone? Why would you not check up on the person before you bring them to your house?
I agree.
I don't know if you guys know this about the robbery rates, but usually the people who get their doors kicked in, the people who get robbed are usually getting robbed by somebody that they know, somebody who's been in their house before. And it's the second that you leave, they kick it in your door. So it's just kind of like, why would you not know who the person is that you're dealing with before you bring them into your house? I don't bring nobody by my house, period.
I agree. I don't like that either. I don't really too much deal with too many people.
Mm-hmm. That's all. And all I'm trying to say is these are.
I'm sorry, my phone about to die.
No, we're good. We're about to wrap up. But these are just small tidbits of information that I just want us to marinate on. That's it. I'm not asking you to be a different person. I'm not asking you to go out in the streets and go do anything. All I'm asking you to do is just at least marinate on the things that I say and hope that it can enhance you in some shape, form, or fashion. That's all.
If no one had told you in a long time, you taught me something today, and you got the message to me. Most definitely.
Okay, fair enough. Like I say, I'm just asking you to just keep an open mind. That's all. I'm not asking you to think the way that I think or agree with everything that I say. All I'm asking you to do is just literally keep an open mind. Always. One of the things that I used to close my show out by saying, I used to say, listen to the show with an open mind and an open heart. That's one of the things. Maybe I'll start saying that again. Listen to the show with an open mind and an open heart. That's it. And then you, from there, you just make your own determination. That's all.
Okay, you two, get out my room so I can finish my TV.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
All right. Well,
I enjoyed you today.
Yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. And I thank you for having a little courage to hop on here and chop it up with me for a little bit, okay?
No problem.
All right. Well, yeah, keep in touch, and we'll do this again, though. And if you ever have questions or anything, and don't be afraid to continue to speak your mind in the chat. But like I say, just keep an open mind, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later, sweetie.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. Let me close that out. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I know it lagged a little bit, but thank you guys so much for being patient. And we're going to go ahead and close out the stream just like that. I want to say thank you to the young lady and her mom. I thought that was a pretty good conversation. If you guys were not able to hear it properly, then what I'll do is I'll upload it on the replay. That particular interview, I guess you could say it was an interview, but that particular conversation, what I'll do is I'll upload it just for channel members. So if you're a channel member or a moderator, you'll be able to watch it. If you guys want to be able to watch it on the replay and hear it to where it's not so choppy because my internet is bad over here, then you'll be able to see that if you join the channel membership. But thank you guys so much, and thank you again to the young lady and her mom. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you guys on the next stream, okay? Love you guys from my heart to yours. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbags, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us on Tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com. Hey there, listeners. Are you looking for authentic design from brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, Gucci, Michael Kors, and so much more at a price that you can actually afford? Well, let me introduce you to Nora's Authentic Designer handbags, shoes, and accessories, where we have designs to meet all of your needs. All items are 100% authentic, brand new, and being sold at prices you don't want to miss out on. Find us today on tradesy.com, at Nora's 915, or email us at norasauthenticdesign@gmail.com.